Welcome back to Sono Real Estate Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Saeed. And today we've got a great conversation lined up with a real estate professional who has been serving the market since 2013 and has built a reputation around a personal, client-focused approach. She has become a broker in 2022 and co-owns William Grayson Realty with her husband, Chris. So everyone, please welcome Amanda. Amanda, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I'm glad we could make this happen. So,
Yes,
I've been looking into your background, Amanda, and what really stood out for me is that you have been in the DFW real estate world for over a decade. Am I right?
that is correct. Yes, it
Awesome.
seems like a long decade sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. You have grown into a broker role. That's I think that's a pretty exciting path that you have took. You have built a boutique brokerage model that seems
Yes.
very relationship driven focused rather than just, transaction driven. And that's exactly the kind of a story I like bringing onto this show. So let's just start at the beginning because
Okay.
people always want to see the result, but I think people kind of miss the path, the adventure you have had toward this one. So question number one, Amanda,
Okay.
take us back to the start. What pulled you into real estate in the DFW market in 2013, and what made you decide this was the business you wanted to build around your career?
Well, honestly, I was pregnant with our first son, well, our only son.
Awesome.
And so he was born in 2013, and I thought I was going to be one of these corporate women. I could go back to work, no problem. I couldn't do it. So
I get
while I was
it.
I was like, I can't do this. I can't have someone else raise my son. And so while I was on maternity leave, I actually was a transaction coordinator for a real estate team. And
hmm
so that kind of got my feet wet. And then in October of 2013, went to Champion School of Real Estate alongside my husband. We did it at the same time together. We both left our corporate jobs and we went all in on real estate. And so, it was a very scary thing. We had a young baby and we had no security on finances, and we are like, we are all in. So that was really our
I get it.
inspiration to get into real estate, is just I wanted to have some flexibility to raise my child while still having a successful career.
Wow. Wow. I
Yeah.
totally understand you, Amanda, because I kind of had the same story. I have a son as well, and
Oh,
she's younger. She's much younger. He's a much younger side. But the point is, I totally get it because, I was in the same situation with my wife as well. She wanted to work, but pretty amazing story. I totally understand your situation. I love it. Excellent. So you told me that you later earned your broker's license. What changed for you when you made that leap from agents to broker? And how did that shift, how did that shift the way you think about leadership, responsibility, and of course, being a parent kind of worked for you?
okay, so the broker's license, it really was never my goal. I had no ambition to get my broker's license.
Mhm.
In 2020, my husband, because of obviously the world changing in 2020 and we were shut down for a while,
Yeah.
he decided to pursue his. So he got his in 2020. And at that time, again, still didn't really care, but he started saying he was my boss. And it was in a very joking manner, but I am just the type of woman, I'm like, you say it again, and I'm going to get my broker's license. And so he continued to mess with me, and he would say this, like, I'm your boss. And I couldn't stand it. So I went out and I got my broker's license, really. And that was the reason why, because he just kept prodding me, trying to act like he was my boss. And so now I tell him, like, hey, if you make me mad, I'm just going to start my own brokerage. Like, I can do
Wow.
that. So, it's all very lighthearted and in fun, but because that's just the type of person he is to mess with me. But again, I'm also the type of person that I'll just come back and I'll show you.
I get it.
So that was the truth. God's honest truth of how that happened and why that happened. I don't
Right.
know to this day if he wouldn't have messed with me if I would have even gotten it.
Right.
But it does change something in you, and you start looking at every transaction differently because you realize just to a different level of how important these transactions are and that they really aren't
Mm.
transactions. It goes back to that relational piece. This is
Exactly.
someone's, dream, their aspiration, something they've really worked hard for. And
Exactly.
what they're, they've spent a lot of time trying to get to that goal. And so I do think sometimes that agents get into this mindset that it's just another deal when it's not. And so
Exactly.
that really changed when I became a broker.
Exactly. First of all, that's what I call a super healthy relationship.
Yes. Yes.
That's a healthy relationship to me because I mess with my wife as well, and she's exactly like you, Amanda. She's like, I'm going to show you that I'm not like
Yes.
that. So that's
I
pretty
love
interesting
it.
for me, and I totally understand that kind of the thing. But I'm pretty happy that you did it, and I
Yes.
think that was a source of inspiration, if you ask me.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Because I swear I said for years and years, I'm like, I don't need to do that. Why would I want that responsibility? And then, so yes, he definitely drove me to getting it done. And I am very thankful that I did.
Awesome. I love it. I love it, Amanda. I genuinely just love it. Cool. So you and Chris own this William Grayson Realty. What has
We
been
do.
it like, building this brokerage together? And what do you think client get from, from a smaller, more personal brokerage experience that you may not get elsewhere? What is your unique approach about this part?
Well, so when we built this, so the first, I think it was a little over a year, maybe 2 years, it was just him and I. And the motivation behind it is we had
Mhm.
been with, I think, four brokerages at that time over,
Mhm.
you know, from 2013 to 2020. And when we would join with these brokerages, they would tell us all these things that you really want to hear. And, especially as an agent, how they're going to help you and they're going to do all these great things. And then once you join them, you don't hear from anybody and they don't even know you exist. They don't know your name.
Oh yeah.
So
Like,
finally, the last brokerages we were with, when we went, they had told us they weren't going to be a big brokerage. They were going to stay boutique. And we said, that's what we wanted. We've already been with some of the bigger ones. And by the time we left in like it was a 6 month span, they had grown from like 70 agents to over 300 agents. And
mhm.
to me, that's not a boutique brokerage. So we went out on our own, and again, like I said, we it was just him and I for the first
Mhm.
year to 2 years. Um,
Mhm.
and then we had some agents ask and inquire about joining us. And we told them, like, hey, here's what we can offer you, but we want to stay small, really more for the personal relationship. And so, like
Mhm.
Chris and I, we are very hands on with our clients. I mean, I don't pass them off to a transaction coordinator. I know a lot of bigger agents do, and that's their thing, but we are there literally every step of the way. And I know some people kind of think that we shouldn't do that, but it's worked for us because we build a very intimate relationship with every client because they know that we are the ones responding to their every single need. I mean, text, calls, whatever, they're getting us.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so it really is, it's about building that relationship. And by doing so, it has like our whole business is sphere based. We have never
Mhm.
paid for a lead. Everything has just been 100% referral. And that's what we want because we want to do such a great job that they refer us to everybody they know.
I love it.
And so, our ultimate goal is just to give them the best client home buying or selling experience that they could ever imagine and just be there 100% of the time.
Yeah, I love how you say that you want to be in this. I love it that you are not looking at this business as a business. It's a personal
Yes.
relationship. And I do
Yes.
believe that that's a key. Look, I do not hear this every day from any agent. Like I have, and believe me, I have talked and worked with a lot of agents in US, and this is something that really can make you better compared to your competitors. I love it. I love it, man. Absolutely.
Thank
I
you.
would say that's an absolutely a winning key. Cool.
Well,
So,
thank you.
your public profile mentioned working with first-time home buyers, investors, like, sellers. Out of those groups, where do you feel you bring the most unique value? And what are the biggest mistake you see people making before they even sit down and talk to an agent?
Okay, so that's actually shifted for me over the years. In the beginning, I really, really loved working with first-time home buyers.
Hmm.
They don't know anything, and
Exactly.
you have to tell them even the things that they don't know. Like we have to tell them and hold their hand and be there. And so they were my favorite clientele. I mean, and I would say they still are, just because you get an education piece behind it. And
Hmm.
again, you want to talk about very relational. That is an extremely relational process for us because they literally know nothing, or they hear information and then they'll come and ask. Um, and now I would say it's kind of shifted. The past few years, I've been focused on sellers a lot. Um, and to me, the key with sellers is pricing it right. We have a lot of sellers that still think we are in like the 2020, 2021 market, and we are not at all.
Hmm.
And
Exactly.
to try
Exactly.
and help educate them because they're, especially when you hear, hey, I'm interviewing agents. Okay, great. I always tell them, I'm sure you're going to get an agent that comes in here and tells you, yes, I can sell for X amount of dollars. But let me
Hmm.
show you what the market actually is stating about your property and what you can sell for. I'm not the type of agent that wants to stick a sign in the yard for recognition and not sell a property. And
Hmm.
I just have to advise them at the end of the day, your goal is to sell the property. That's also my goal. But if we go in way too high, that's not going to happen.
Hmm.
And I will say, I had a seller last year that did not take my advice on our list price. And
Hmm.
I agreed to take the listing. And I said, but hey, after X amount of time, we need to lower the price. Are you willing to do so before I take this? And they were, but then they changed their mind. And guess what? We did not sell that property. And so
Yeah.
that is my biggest lesson. Like, I think I always have to stick with what I believe. And if the list price is not where it needs to be, like, sometimes you just have to let it go and let them find out another way. So
Exactly.
that's definitely a lesson I've even learned just recently. Like, I can say this all day long, but if I really don't think they're willing to listen to my advice at the end of the day, we're probably not going to be a good fit.
Yeah, yeah. That would be a very good advice, Amanda. So listen to Amanda when you're selling your house.
Yes.
100%. I get it. Like you are the professional here, and definitely they need to listen to you. Cool, cool. So you serve a wide kind of place. You're serving in North Texas, from Frisco to Dallas, Fort Worth, and beyond. What trends you are
Yes.
seeing right now in DFW market that buyers and sellers should actually pay attention to instead of just, repeating whatever headline they saw online?
Okay, so a lot of people still feel like the market is not moving. You have buyers sitting on the sidelines waiting for interest
Mhm.
rates to come down. You have sellers that think they're going to list their house and they may not have to get away with paying any seller concessions.
Mhm.
Right now,
Yeah,
homes are definitely moving. I mean, every
yeah.
listing we just had is sold. They weren't even setting that long. And of course, depending on the market. Now, last week alone, I was in Bridgeport, Weatherford, like way out. So the homes, I would say, here in the Collin County, Denton County area are definitely moving faster than like Wise County. It's just more rural. It takes the right kind of buyer. But Tarrant
Mhm.
County is actually moving faster than Denton and Collin County. So,
Mhm.
I mean, honestly,
Yeah,
it's
that's
just the homes are moving, the market is moving, but I think a lot of people are listening
exactly.
to these headlines from the news saying, "Oh, you might want to hold off," or "Oh, it's a buyer's market. Oh, it's a seller's market." You know, I yes, I mean, you might get a little more with a seller right now, but ultimately it's not that weighted. So
Mhm.
I would just say ask your real estate professionals. Don't be listening to what maybe the Dallas Morning News or whoever is out
Yeah,
there spewing these headlines. Maybe just talk to the real estate professionals when you're really
exactly.
considering what you're doing.
Exactly. And people do the people have to listen to the real professional people that are kind of you are dealing
Yes.
with this every single day. Yeah, that's a
Yes.
very good point. That's a very, very good point. Awesome. Cool. So next question, Amanda, you have built strong client feedback online. I can actually see that. And that usually tells me there's something happening behind the scene beyond just getting deals done. You have mentioned a couple of things about the relationship, about making it personal and all of that. But tell me, what do you believe clients remember most after working with you, and what do you intentionally do to create that kind of experience? A good
I
question, yeah?
believe, yes, I believe honestly they remember the most how I showed up for them and how quickly I responded to them and that I always made I bet if you talk to all of my clients, they would tell you they always felt like they were my only client. And I
Mhm.
think that's an experience that's really hard to deliver because, yes, maybe I'm working with 5, 10 people. I don't want them to ever feel that or know that. I want them to feel like they are my only priority at that time when we're working a deal together. Because again, I know how important, whether it's the selling of their home, purchasing a home, I know how important that is in their life because they're all trying to accomplish something. And at the end of the day, I want them all to meet their goals, whatever that may be. So I'm just very intentional with showing up, being
Mhm.
authentic. I'm always transparent with them. And I just want them to feel like how much I care.
Awesome. So that deep caring, that sense of showing them how much you care for them is the main thing they will remember. Awesome. I love that
Yes.
answer. Awesome. Awesome. So last question, Amanda, for someone listening right now, who might be thinking about buying, selling, investing, or even choosing the right agent in your market, what advice would you give them today that could save them time, money, or stress over the next 6 to 12 months?
I would say if it's something they are considering, one, of course, speak with a real estate professional first.
Hmm.
If, if it comes to selling their home, make sure they talk to someone and that the agent asks what their outcome is. What do they want from the sale of this home? And then if they're buying, don't wait. Like there's the time is now. Like I know a lot of people think, oh, if I just wait 6, 12 months, maybe interest rates will come down, maybe something will shift in the market. The thing is with real estate, it's always appreciating. I mean, a lot of people
Hmm.
are on the sidelines right now thinking like something is about to happen with real estate just because it's not necessarily appreciating as much as it has, in years past, it is still appreciating. Real estate is one of the best assets that you can acquire. And so
Awesome.
if you're looking to buy, sell, whatever that is right now, I would just say go for it. But of course, talk to a real estate professional. Don't read the headlines of the news, just see what actually can happen for you. And again, just don't wait. I think a lot of people just are waiting, but I don't really know what they're waiting on. Like just do it. I mean, if you just
Yeah,
take the
just
chance, I mean, it's, just take the risk.
exactly. I love it, Brian. Just do it. Waiting is not going to actually solve your problem. I love
Not at
it,
all.
Amanda. Exactly, exactly. I love it, Amanda. Amanda, this has been great. This was one of the I want to be super honest with you. This has been one of my best podcasts. I personally, that's what I believe it has been. I like talking with people who clearly care about the relationship side of the business and not just, the transaction, not just, another deal and all of that. And that was really awesome. Thank you so much for being here, Amanda. I
Well,
really
thank
appreciate
you.
it. I'm going to, hit the pause right now and we will have a short conversation after that. Thank you again. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're right now watching this and if you're needing an agent that really cares about you and you are in Dallas and you're in North Texas, contact Amanda right now. And I will leave Amanda's contact information in any place that you're watching. Thank you so much, Amanda. Again, any last word?
No, buy the house, sell the house, do whatever you need to do.
Do it today. Awesome. I
Thank
appreciate it,
you.
Amanda. Thank you so much. Let me